Go for it. Okay. So, this is going to be probably the most off the cuff video we've ever done.
Yeah,
After probably about an hour of trying to figure out how Facebook Live works,
over
and
an
it
hour. Yeah.
yeah, and it not being anything good. We're gonna at least give you roughly 40 minutes of what we can do here. Maybe more than that. I'll edit it. I don't care. Um, I'll do it after this. It is the most frustrating thing for that to happen, and I'm really actually looking forward to see if Facebook responds to me. I sent something to Facebook that said, "Why is this such an effing problem?" Um, they need
Yeah.
a good answer because we both are completely we have 100% access to the page. You hit click live video, and it doesn't give you an option to add anybody. And then all the things you look up, it says you can only do it if you do it on the phone. I try and do it on the phone, still didn't work. So I don't, I just don't understand it. Like, what are you supposed to do? It's such a, like, it's a pile of shit. Like, I'm just gonna say it. It's a complete garbage. Anyway, we won't dwell on that because we've wasted enough time on Facebook, and that's frustrating enough. Pick 20 here is up for the Seahawks. I know everybody's going to watch this after the fact, which is very disappointing. It's disappointing for me too. Um, is what it is. We can't control everything.
Yeah.
To be
I
fair,
mean,
the other group that was going to do a live stream on the Facebook group that I'm part of, they are quote unquote the OGs of doing the Facebook Live group. And I shared the video that I started there and the anticipation that I'd eventually be able to add you, Taylor. And I had to stop it. And then we went through the whole mess of trying to add you. Anyway, they couldn't do it either. And I'm kind of assuming, I didn't confirm this with anybody. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm kind of assuming they ran into the same wall that we did. You can't have
hmm,
two people anymore. And I don't know why. So if you don't have a platform, if you don't purchase like some streaming, some off-brand streaming, whatever it is,
yeah.
you can't do it. So I didn't think if the editing program has a live stream on option on it. And I didn't think about that, which we did pay for back in September. But we're here. It is what it is. I'm not wasting any more time on it. We'll let the Seahawks pick a 20 and we'll catch back up to it. So far, your reaction first round, Taylor.
Definitely more unexpected sort of surprises, if you, I mean, not if you will, surprises,
Right.
that I did not anticipate. Uh, Namely the Texans going back to back. That was pretty interesting. I mean,
That was
I don't hate it. That's good for
no.
them.
They got the best linebacker in the draft. I think they got quite the capable that I think that selection of CJ Stroud at two tells you they didn't care who traded to one.
Hmm.
And I know that whoa, we'll
Oh.
talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll wait on that one. That's wow.
Yeah. Dang.
Wow. Okay.
That's gonna be quite the trio.
Well, actually, why are we even holding off? Because but this is going to be after it's over. Jackson Smith and Jigba just went to the Seahawks at 21 or 20, excuse me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Tyler Lockett. Ooh, watch out. In 2026 too. Like that's the weirdest because they're all under contract for the next 2 years at least. So
Right.
that's I didn't see that one coming. I think Jordan Addison's going here at 21 to the Chargers, just to be honest, but we'll see in about 6 minutes. It seems like they shortened the clock down.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Jameer Gibbs gone, like if they were gonna go for a running back, Bijan didn't make it, Jameer Gibbs didn't make
Right.
it. So
I mean, that's like both of those are Jameer Gibbs is probably he went 12 to the Lions, and I mean that just shows that DeAndre Swift is just not in their plans past next year.
yeah.
Because I think this is his final year, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, Jameer Gibbs has to be a 2 year ceiling player, 2 year ceiling halfback, and without them taking, without them picking up another running back in free agency next year, it's pretty much his backfield. And
Yeah.
he's a very good pass catcher too. That's the other thing about Jameer Gibbs. He fits well.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a solid three down guy.
yeah, and I that's there were some teams that liked him a little more than Bijan coming in. I don't think that's going to necessarily turn out. So long as Bijan stays healthy, he's a generational halfback. He will be there with the the Ecklers and the McCaffreys beyond the Jacobs probably. Um, so yeah, three was Will Anderson. I like that. Good defensive piece. The way this draft is looking, they could have got a really good piece at 33 and a
Yeah.
piece at 12, like a piece at both of those spots that would have been helpful in more than one spot.
Hmm.
But I understand the linebacker help and helping, second year linebacker Christian Harris, kind of solidifying that piece in an AFC South that's going to be very shaky. It seems.
Yeah.
Well, shaky's probably a little heavy of a word, but number four was Anthony Richardson to the Colts. Love that.
Yeah.
That he has to be, and I said that if he goes to the right team, which I think the Colts qualify, he will instantly step into top 15 quarterback territory because of his running ability. So from a fantasy standpoint, I can see him being a top 6 or top 7 in rookie drafts.
Yeah. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, he's probably going to be uh, probably the top of this quarterback class, just because of his
And
rushing ability.
I
I won't say
I
this year, but by
I'd
next year,
take Bryce. I'd take Bryce over him.
from a fantasy points perspective.
Yeah, Bryce has a little bit of rushing too. You got to understand that. And
Yeah, he does.
and
But if they're
and so I
gonna,
would
because of his size, if they're gonna play it a little safe and not do too much of that,
okay. I mean, it's arguable. I don't think CJ Stroud for the Texans is somebody who I'm eyeing up in my top two. I'll tell you that. But he's a good piece for them, which is
hmm
something you have to bounce back.
yeah. And then I mean, on top of just to add to the Anthony Richardson going to the Colts with Shane Steichen there, who coached
Yeah.
up, Jalen Hurts. That's he obviously knows how to use that type of player, Russian quarterback that is. Uh,
Five, Devin Witherspoon. I didn't see
mhm.
that one for Seattle. And I
Yeah,
think about this. Seattle just took JSN, which you said about 3 minutes ago. Um, and they took a cornerback to be the opposite side from Tariq Woolen. This team looks very different now that they've re-signed Bobby Wagner too. I
hmm
like Seattle a lot. I think they can probably sneak in to competing with the 49ers now. There's three options to argue to go. Um, there's three options to take on the 49ers there. So I like that. Um, Six was the Cardinals trading back up after trading back to 12. They
yeah,
went to six. I get why, because they picked up basically three extra picks by doing
right.
it. Um, Two extra picks, whatever. And then by trading back up, they were able to take Paris Johnson, help Kyler Murray. They were like 28th in first downs last year and 29th in yards gained per play. It wasn't good. So giving Kyler Murray a little bit of protection is good.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And apparently he was kind of voicing that and lobbied for them to.
he's asked for offensive tackles for 3 years now, and they were like, "Duh, that's not," and they didn't work out, and it shows. The offense has just taken a step back just about every year.
And he's gotten
Um,
hurt.
Yeah, well, that too now. Although he got hurt, he got hurt on a scrambling play, which is still him running, and I guess that's from the offensive line being garbage. But anyway, number seven, we had the Raiders take Tyree Wilson, great defensive end from Texas Tech. Didn't see that. I am surprised that they are going to ride with Jimmy G because it seems like that's the way it's going to go. The first shock to me as I tried to set this video up was number eight at Bijan Robinson to the Falcons. Who Tyler Algier is officially useless.
Yeah.
I hate
I
to say
mean,
that.
I was looking at some stuff today and I saw this coming up and, the betting odds really had this high. So it seems like, people inside having access to teams and whatnot were getting this information from the Falcons. But yeah, it is interesting. 3 years in a row, they've gone first round with high offensive players, tight end, wide receiver, and now running back. So they're pretty set up from a offensive weapon standpoint, but they do not have the quarterback to,
No,
move the team forward.
you
It's
mean that? You mean Taylor Heineke isn't the answer?
Yeah.
They don't. But that's the thing is this team ran. This team was a running team, and checkdowns are a big thing for Bijan. So, 21, the Chargers just took Quentin Johnston, who will be the Keenan Allen replacement in a year or two.
Mm.
Uh, it seems that way, I would assume. Um, I didn't think they needed to keep Keenan to do what they just did, but it's up to them. Good place for him. Justin Herbert as another weapon. I mean, that's almost as scary as Lockett, Metcalf, and JSN. Like those are two wide receiving cores that you can have all of.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the picks. 9, Jalen Carter. Yeah, I guess he had three of his former teammates at Philadelphia. It does fill a huge hole for them. I mean, Javon Hargrave is gone. You need anything you can get there. At 10 is who went?
Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright. That's right. To the Bears,
Hmm.
probably a hair early, but they need the offensive tackle. They got an extra pick, I believe, by trading back with the Eagles. Eagles traded up to 9. 11 was Peter Skronsky, offensive tackle. Sure, I don't think anyone's surprised by that. I'm surprised the Titans haven't made more moves because of how much they have to rebuild.
Yeah.
Like they just need everything. I'm surprised DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been traded as of this point. I'm surprised Derrick Henry is still around. Um, that's not yours. That's electrical outlets and things you don't drool on. It's in case you didn't know, it's my dog. So say hi, Ridge.
I was gonna make a bad joke about
Hi,
somebody
Reed.
else.
Yeah, that'd be funny too. But just X-nay on the girlfriend
Yeah.
day. Um, he wants to lay down, but I have the power cord laying right where he would. So unfortunately, he looks sad and will now go away. At 12 was Jahmyr Gibbs, the Lions. DeAndre Swift, like we said, DeAndre Swift, bye bye. 13 Packers, who had traded up, got 13 in the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets trade. I it's not pretty, Lucas Van Ness, but I think it gets the job done.
Yeah.
This team needed to go defense. They probably could have still had him at 15, to be honest.
Right.
Because what we'll talk about with 14 momentarily, but you needed the Jets wanted 13, or you wanted the Packers wanted 13 in the Rodgers trade. So it gets this team's wasn't great on defense. They were middle of the road at best.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything really to stop, I guess, in the second level. So this makes a lot of sense. You still have, I mean, there's a lot that they could have done with this pick, and they didn't waste it. That's my take on it.
Yeah. It's not like necessarily needle moving for them,
No,
but it's not a bad pick by any means.
no,
They definitely need another good wide receiver. Um, it- they made it work with other guys besides Christian Watson, but they no longer have Lazard.
right.
So I don't know. I don't see how at this point, but maybe they're a candidate for Hopkins. I don't know. We'll have to see how things pan out with Love. So this could
Uh,
be a mess of a year for them.
they probably, and this is just a complete guess, but I guess I'm not going to be able to get that open there. So let me try in the other window. Um, they are. I would imagine they're probably trying not to sink too much of their teeth into any one direction because they don't know. To me, there's at
Right.
least a small part of them that isn't set that Jordan Love is the quarterback past this year.
Hmm.
So if that's the case, this is a smart play
Yeah.
because your defense has to continuously be good. So now that I've opened up my off-season additions tab, which is extremely unfinished, but that's okay. 14 Steelers traded back with, or excuse me, Steelers traded up with the Patriots. Patriots moved back, picked up a
As
couple
per the
extra picks.
usual.
Yes, and I'm surprised they even picked at 17.
Yeah,
Uh,
really.
um, that was very surprising. Honestly, I saw early second round teams being able to make a push for that 14th overall if they wanted to, including the Cardinals and the Texans.
Mm.
Which they obviously were willing to move, but that just didn't work in the cards. Um, Broderick Jones went to the Steelers at 14. Um, 15, Will McDonald to the Jets. Linebacker help. I think that was like the only spot they had left to fix. They re-signed Connor McGovern. They have obviously the quarterback for at least a year, in Aaron Rodgers. They have all the wide receiver help they need. I think the only thing they needed was like that middle linebacker, and that they got him. So, yay. Jets are all set.
Can we
16. Go
real
ahead.
quick? Can we touch on the Aaron Rodgers thing? The fact
Yeah,
that
we haven't
they,
chatted about it at all.
yeah, I mean, obviously it's old news at this point, few days, whatever, but um, they in that package, the Jets give away a conditional second round pick. The condition being if Rodgers plays 65% of this year's games, it's a round one pick next year.
Correct.
In what universe does he not play that amount of games? Whatever, he gets hurt. Okay.
65% of snaps.
Yeah.
It's a that's a I'm
It's a
it's possible,
it
believe it or
it
not.
is there, yes, there is
So
obviously possibilities, but go
so
ahead.
the thought here is that they don't want him to move. They don't want them to because Rodgers is not long for this league.
Right.
In 3 years, he's gone, and that's on the high side, right?
Yeah,
He's
but
already been on the fence for 3 years. He's not going to make it another three before people are just like, we're
yeah.
sick of this, get out. But behind him is Zach Wilson, and they part of the reason for this is that he can train
Hmm.
Zach Wilson. Um,
Hopefully.
right, with some luck, sprinkles of fairy dust, pull a tag off a mattress, and there's Zach Wilson as a respectable quarterback.
Hmm.
But if he does that and Zach Wilson ends up being something, they don't want him moving in at say week 9, week 10. To a certain extent, this division is not the Jets just because they have Aaron Rodgers now.
Right.
The Dolphins have made a play to become the best team in this division. The Bills have been for 2 years, 3 years now. So this team is still going to be fighting for a 9-8, a 10-7. If they're lucky and they get some plays to go the right way, I think their ceiling's roughly 12-5.
Yeah.
Um,
But
the
you said,
defense isn't stellar. So that's, I think, in my
yeah. And no, and the reason that I sort of thought about all this was you mentioned like Rodgers may only play 1 year. And in that scenario, you've just thrown away your first round pick next year, which hopefully Zach Wilson pans out. But if he's another Josh Rosen or, it, they're just really shooting themselves in the foot.
there's the Ravens taking something, another position player they don't need. We'll talk. They took Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College, at 22. The interesting part is not to sidetrack from our Aaron Rodgers conversation. They have Odell, who they signed,
Hmm.
Rashad Bateman. Devin Duvernay is probably now the fourth or fifth string.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar. Now they take Zay Flowers. I think Duvernay is not even fantasy. Aguilar and Duvernay are not even fantasy assets. Zay Flowers is a 2 to 3 year option, and it depends on what happens with the other two. So just my take on it. But um, it all depends on how that works out. If he's gonna play the second year, you know,
Yeah.
but I think to a certain extent the Jets are pinholed now because
Hmm.
again he has that crazy salary.
Yeah.
Um, you you're gonna have to they're gonna have to do something crazy next year. I mean, it's almost like a one and done, and if not a two and done, because they're gonna have to blow it up and restart in 2026, let's say.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, taking Will McDonald again, don't hate it.
Yeah.
16 was Emmanuel Forbes.
Hmm.
Yep, to the
Commanders.
Commanders. I sure. I mean, they picked up Cam Dantzler from the Vikings earlier this offseason. I'm
Yeah.
still surprised they have Kendall Fuller and who's the other one? Can't remember his name. There's another cornerback there, and he cost them money. And I can't remember his name off for the life of me right now. And I just wrote the list, so I really should just look at that because oh no, I didn't, because that's only additions. So you won't find out from us here. Um, I'm gonna hate myself. Anyway, 17 was the Patriots. They took Christian Gonzalez. Uh, I I feel like they knew the trade between the Jets and the Packers facilitated the Steelers to call the Patriots about this because the Jets at 14. I mean, there's no chance the Steelers are trading with the Texans. They're not trading with um the Jets themselves at 13 if they want that offensive tackle. They're not
Mhm.
going to trade with the Titans at 11 who want that offensive tackle. And the Eagles are in a position where they probably wouldn't trade. The only next team you would be the Bears, and the Bears are probably going to put a decent price on 9. It's a big gap. By moving the Jets moving to 15, the Patriot or the Steelers probably said, "Hey, we can still get a really good offensive tackle if we trade up to maybe 14." And those Patriots don't like to hold on to their first round picks very often. So I think that was smart. And the Patriots knew who they wanted once it got past. I mean, Christian Gonzalez didn't go to the once Jalen Carter went to the Eagles at 9, and then the Bears are offensive tackle all the way, right? Christian Gonzalez is sliding to you.
Yeah,
I think the interesting part here is that they actually got Gonzalez past Emmanuel Forbes.
right.
So I don't know if that was maybe that the Commanders thought Gonzalez wasn't getting to them. They never interviewed him, and there's just we got to go with who we know and who we wanted. Um, but that's a very interesting thought, and I think it worked out for all three of the four teams. I'll say. I think that there was. I think I'm surprised Will McDonald went before Nolan Smith as far
Mhm.
as the Jets at 15, but I get it because Nolan Smith is a little more of an edge. Will McDonald, for the most part, seems to be more of a midfield.
Yeah.
So, um, 18, Jack Campbell to. I'm looking at my phone because this was where I was throwing a fit about Facebook and I wasn't paying attention. So, Jack Campbell, inside linebacker, Iowa. I mean, yeah, this team's defense was atrocious. The one thing you really didn't need, I'm surprised they didn't go defense to begin with
Right.
at 12. But it is the way it is. Um, Actually, I do have them. They have some good secondary pieces they picked up. Emmanuel Mosley and Cam Sutton, two cornerbacks they signed. They got an extra fourth round pick for. They traded somebody, and then Jeff Okuda.
Mm.
I had to think about that name for a second. I got to dust off the football. It's been like 5 weeks. By the way, did you know it has been 4 weeks to the day since we did a show?
I'm no, I
It's a
didn't,
month.
but
It
I
was a
knew it
whole
was,
month.
yeah, close
One
to a
whole month.
month. Yeah.
Don't you feel a little bit like a virgin again? This is weird. It's so odd. 30 days. We haven't done a no show in 30 days since August.
Yeah.
Anyway, 19 Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle. The Buccaneers are so screwed this year. It's not even funny. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, can't say that name. Quentin Johnston at 22 to the Chargers, and Zay Flowers to the Ravens at 23, all of which we have touched on.
22.
22. Yes, and looked at the number far to
Oh,
the left and not the corrected number, right?
right. Because the
22 is really
Dolphins.
21
Yeah.
because the Dolphins forfeited their pick.
Yeah.
So we are up to currently pick 24 and is the Minnesota Vikings.
Well,
And
23.
right number,
But going back to the Bucks taking Kalijah Cansey, I mean, he
why not?
talented guy. Yeah, why not? But at the same time, I mean, all right, they have Mayfield. Okay. Trask, I don't see that happening. Will Levis was there. Nobody seems to want Levis,
Yeah,
which,
he's still on the board right now, which is
yeah, I mean, at this point, like, who else would take him looking at the rest of the teams? Like, Minnesota, I guess, if they want to plan for the future, Jacksonville doesn't need him. Jets or Giants don't need him.
yeah.
Cowboys, no.
The
Bills,
Cowboys
no.
could take him as a threat. And if you
Yeah,
don't do better, we're going to Will Levis.
right.
Um,
Cincinnati, Saints just signed Carr. Eagles
right.
are fine. Chiefs are fine. So like Willis, might fall to the second round here.
He very well could.
Yeah,
And at which point, you got to start looking at the beginning of the second round. Who takes him then?
right.
Um,
This could be another Sam Howell situation.
very much, very
Yeah,
much. My TV has decided to not cooperate, so I don't know who the pick is. If it's in, don't tell me.
they just put it in.
Oh,
They haven't said it yet though.
I was about to say it's not showed up on the NFL draft board, so
Mm.
we'll restart the app and I'll watch it on my phone. What am I doing? I have the exact same thing on my phone. If the TV doesn't want to cooperate, I'll watch it here. There. Yeah, you can take your time, TV.
I mean,
They seem very happy about whoever they just picked.
yeah, I feel like they should go wide receiver
Like
here, but
Will Levis, yeah.
yeah.
Um, they haven't added. So here's the thing: they signed Byron Murphy for the secondary. They have
Mm,
an outside linebacker in Marcus Davenport, who's not a stunning pick. It's not that's not the sexy pick that we want, right? Um, Wide receiver makes sense because they no longer have Adam Thielen,
right.
but eh, hmm, I don't know.
I mean, if they feel good about KJ Osborne, they might not, but and they also
They do, but
don't they
KJ
have
Osborne
Rager?
should.
Jalen Rager?
I know you just said that as a joke, right?
Is it
That's a good joke. That's funny. That's
no
real
no.
funny.
They have who the heck do they have? Not Jalen Rager. It's somebody from that class. They picked him up sometime last year.
Jordan Addison, you called it.
Yeah.
Great. I mean,
They do have Jalen Rager.
they do. Yeah, but come on.
Oh, I'm
Jordan
not saying
Addison or Jalen Rager?
oh yeah.
Would you rather have this Lamborghini or this Ford Pinto? Um, maybe not a Lamborghini, but a Porsche at least,
I mean,
right?
Rager's almost like a Philip Dorsett. Somebody you thought was gonna be great and then just
Philip Dorsett
really
wants you to apologize right now.
or a Paris Campbell. Honestly, Paris Campbell at this point has proven to be better.
Yeah, a mile by a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, just to quote. Well, I mean, we'll touch on this pick in a moment, but uh, Paris Campbell one of my top three underrated signings of the offseason, if
Mm,
he's used correctly.
right.
If he's used correctly,
If they look
big
at
key.
how he was used last year, which was his best year, he had he should have been more involved the past 3 years, and I don't know what was happening over there, but they finally figured out how to use him, and now he's no longer on the team, and yeah, if
Uh-oh.
the Giants can
Keep going. Sorry.
actually use him, which I mean they don't have a lot of wide
Speaking
receiving
of,
options.
speaking of,
What do we got?
Giants just traded up from 25 to 24.
Really?
Jacksonville traded down a spot. Oh, no, they did not. The Giants traded up from they have back-to-backs at 24 and 25, according
Oh,
to what the TV says, which of
hmm.
course always accurate in the middle of a live event. Just want to let you know that.
Yeah.
But you'd assume if they swapped that would be a thing. We'll get
Mm.
to that momentarily. I'm gonna unplug one of my ears so I can hear that. Just to touch on this Jordan Addison pick. Man, he fell. So we were talking about him going to Green Bay in the middle, and then maybe the Chargers need
I was gonna
somebody.
say the
The
Chargers, I'm
Ravens need.
surprised went Johnston over Addison in terms of like Johnston is more, in my opinion, similar to Mike Williams than Keenan Allen. If you take Addison there, I feel like he fills that Keenan Allen role much better as a
Addison. Addison's better off the line. He's better speed. There's no body there.
no.
He's outweighed by a lot of people, which is a good counter to Mike Williams.
Exactly.
From that standpoint, I think Johnston fits either of those two big physical guys. He's not the speedster. I think Addison was like a 4.43. Johnston was like a 5, a 4.58, 4.53. So
Yeah.
yeah. Which doesn't sound easy. I mean, it's good speed still, but it's not, his separation won't be quite as big. What he will probably be able to do, we hope, is have the hands and the body control to get some passes if they're put in the right spot, which is something that Justin Hurt has been a lot better at the last, I'd say, year and a half,
Mm,
is putting the ball where his receivers can get it. Do
yeah.
they? Yeah. Um, but that's a very interesting. I not interesting in a good way. Like I didn't expect Minnesota to stray away from defense there. Also, whoever said that the Eagles weren't taking defense in the first round, I want my apologies in formal writing. I just realized that. I've been saying that since we got done with the draft. They have no choice but to do defense. And their only offensive pick that they were going to make was signing Olamide Zaccheaus, who, by the way, I think he's a better wide receiver, a better option for that team than I can't remember his name. Well, obviously Greg Ward.
Yeah, who was their third?
Fourth, third, fourth, yeah, third. See, this is a part of the brain you got to dust off after a while, and it hurts.
I honestly cannot think of who else.
And is he still on
Yeah.
the team? Hold on. I'm
But
gonna have to.
I mean, going back to Addison sort of slipping here while you're trying to figure that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, like
Quez
Zay
Watkins.
Flowers, Quez Watkins, okay. Yeah, Addison versus Zay Flowers. I would rather have Addison, but apparently the Baltimore Ravens
Yep.
feel otherwise. Yeah, I mean, like with the Chargers, if they want a big body guy, sure, Quentin Johnston's going to be that person. Um, I just feel like sort of slot slot guy with Addison or just high volume type of player versus I mean you could also throw him on the outside and try and have him beat some guys down the line. So
We hope. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me find Addison 5'11", 173, 449, 40. Zay Flowers 5'9", 182, 442, 40. So Flowers is shorter, but he weighs more,
Mm.
and he's faster by about 3/4 of a tenth. Giants traded the.
So yeah, they did trade with
Yep,
Jacksonville and swapped.
they swaps a fifth
Yeah.
round pick and a seventh round pick plus 25 for 24. See, like I said, don't trust live TV. It's not always right. Quentin Johnson 6'3", 208. Yeah, he's a very good route runner. So yeah, he'll get to the right spot basically.
Yeah, but he does have to work on his
Or
contested catch capabilities.
yeah,
I think that's he can learn that stuff in the NFL, hopefully. He's
oh
got the
yeah,
body to do it, you know.
he's absolutely got he's got the show for it, and that's a good team to do it on because
Hmm.
contested catch is Keenan Allen's middle name.
Mm.
I like that. We'll do this pick and then we'll restart the stream because it's gonna kick us off in about 4 minutes.
Now, this is something we've actually talked about, um, a tight end potentially for this team, although they did get
That that's not a reason to trade up though. Jacksonville
no,
just picked up Evan Ingram for 3 more years, I think. I
right,
don't. So who are you going for that you thought you
right.
needed to move up a spot for?
Are they going after another wide receiver? Who else?
Jacksonville also doesn't have a need there.
That's true. I keep forgetting about Ridley.
Nolan Smith? It gotta
Uh,
be defense. It's got like if they're trading up for it, unless they're the only other thing is if somebody else was talking to Jacksonville about trading up and jacking their player,
mm,
such as the Cowboys or the Bills.
yeah.
All right, well, let's see.
Yeah. The website updated before his announcement.
Yeah. The corner, which again, it had to be defensive, right?
Mm,
That is the only way that they
I
would need
mean,
to, and that's something that the Jaguars, I assume, were at least looking at him.
right. I mean, especially, yeah, this is a good cornerback class. And we've already had what, four go? Or that he is the fourth?
Five. He's number five, I think.
His
Forbes,
Witherspoon.
Witherspoon, Gonzalez, Forbes. Oh no, you're right. He's
Forbes.
four.
Yeah.
He's four. And
And
he's a, I
actually,
mean,
haven't some places have him listed as a safety, don't they?
he's yeah, I think he's a mixed bag if you're not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So
Um,
that's nice that he's versatile.
you know who's still on the board? Joey Porter Jr.
I was just yeah, which we thought the Steelers might go for.
Would yeah, and they need the offensive tackle so bad.
Yeah.
And the way the offensive tackles broke, they have no choice. So um they can still probably take a stab at like a Cam Smith. Brian Branch is still available.
Hmm.
Huge. I bet you Branch is probably oh Buffalo traded to 25 now.
Interesting. I mean, we might
That's
start
gotta be
seeing
defensive too.
oh yeah, for sure. We might start seeing cornerback uh run here.
Deontay Banks, 6 foot 197, 435 on the 40. Insane speed.
Yeah.
He has great speed. He's good height, good agility. He's good three levels. He has good height, good hops. He stays with a lot of receivers. That's a good pickup for this Cowboys, or excuse me, this Giants team is going to give the Cowboys and the Eagles a fit if they're not
Yeah.
careful. Miles Murphy's still on the board. Brian Branch, like we said,
Hmm.
Joey Porter Jr., Nolan Smith. Man, let's restart this real quick because we're under a minute to go. Brian Brzee is still available. So many first round picks. Michael Mayer
Yeah.
still out there. He could go to the Cowboys. All right, just go ahead and we'll cut it, and then I'll just edit it back in because that's what I do. 2 minutes until the Bills pick.
All right. We'll see you on the flip. We're in.
And welcome back to the not so live stream reaction show to the draft. I hopefully will be able to put this up tonight. If not, it's gonna have to go up tomorrow, which sucks. But the best news that happened for this, now we're on a commercial. The Bills pick is in, so we're gonna wait. The Bills just traded up to 25 from 27, skipping the Cowboys at 26. This is a really relaxing time for me right now. Because the Knicks, I'm a huge basketball fan. For those of you that don't know,
Hmm.
Knicks won their series, first playoff series in 10 years. Won against the Cavaliers. Absolutely took them to school. 4 to
Yeah.
1. It
Cavs only
finished
got
that.
one game.
Yeah, and it was not a good game even then. Like to be
Speaking,
honest, like if you look at the whole series, it was one quarter. It was the second quarter of game two. And other than that, the Knicks outscored them everywhere else.
really.
And that's the way it
Ah,
works sometimes.
my boys as well just defeated the Hawks, Celtics.
Celtics did. I knew that was going
Yeah.
to happen.
I
You
mean,
were in Atlanta too. Like that
yeah.
hurts. But yeah, that's my Knicks did that. So they're off until Sunday. So last night they won. They took game five. They won 4-1. Uh, the Bucks are out of it. Honestly, the East is up for anybody and up for grabs for anybody. I don't think the Celtics are a lock. I hate to tell you,
I mean, the
but
way that they
either
played
way,
this round, I yeah.
you agree. But yeah. So with that being said, it allows me these 3 days, probably two. I don't pay attention to rounds 4 through 7. Really, I'm not gonna lie. I'll look at the overview and whatever happens,
Right.
but I'm not gonna sit and watch it. It's like a 4 hour thing on Saturday, and I ain't doing that. Um,
All
but
right, real quick. Is this Will Levis's family? Like those are his sisters, or is one
I
of these his
think
girlfriend?
I don't, man. I don't know. I don't ask questions. And I was literally like, I could be you. I
That man
assume one of them's
comes
his
from
girlfriend.
a very attractive family.
Yeah, pretty white boy. Too bad he's gonna fall out of the first round.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, it allows me these days to just kind of that's his girlfriend, the one
It's gotta be,
closest to
right?
the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be because the one to the right has his chin, or the one to the left has his chin, his right.
Good eyes.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
I'm
totally
right.
right. I did not
Yeah,
look
that is
that
exactly
close.
that is his chin on her. Yeah, 100%. Yep. Because you look at the mom in between, and definitely his chin. So
Hmm.
good for them though. It's still a very pretty family. Let's put it that way. Um, as I sit on my couch in my dungaroos and yeah, I got snacks in between the cushions. Like you're a pretty family. Go to a football team already. Um, so yeah, this is good to relax and be able to focus on football for 2 more days before I turn back over to basketball for a little bit. So, Bill's pick has been in for about 6 months now.
Yeah. This is why this takes forever. Each team has 10 minutes. This should take 30 minutes to do
on
the entire
NBA
first round.
on NBA radio, they made fun of this. He goes, "Man, I don't know how the NFL really turns their draft into something special. I understand there's a lot of rounds, but the first one, it's 3.5 hours for one round. It's just is good." He goes, "They were like, if you want to watch the NBA game, just every 10 minutes there's a pick. 9 minutes, switch it back."
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills at 25. Take Michael
Here
Mayer.
we go.
I was close. Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
Wow.
How'd you get ahead of me? I
That's
thought I was ahead of you.
I well because I ended up restarting the
Yeah.
so it refreshed. But okay. I was close too because absolutely no one had offense going to the Bills, and I was like, the way
Mm.
this round's been going, like tight end, like Dawson Knox is
I
gonna
was just gonna
be
say
like that's.
Knox is, yeah. That
I'm
he's on my
impressed.
dynasty team. He was the last 2 years, he was decent.
They are good hands off the line, good hands on the catch.
I mean, now Knox is gonna be more of a probably blocking tight end. And Kincaid's just gonna be more of a receiver, at least this year.
Kincaid was more of an all-around pick from what, excuse me, coffee hiccup. I mean, see, there's blocking in there. He can route run. He's good off the line. Yeah, I I mean I agree, but also at the same point, they can run. Like this is gonna allow James Cook to
Hmm.
run, or maybe Damian Harris to run. Can't forget he's now a Buffalo Bill now.
That's right. Yeah, I did
Yeah,
forget that.
yeah, we tried. um, good for him. Good for you, Dalton. Oh, look at Morgan Wallen in the back there. Look at that guy. You see him? You see
I
him over his left shoulder. He's in the
Not
back. He's
yet.
got
Oh, there we
okay.
go.
When they
Yeah.
look over his left, yeah, Mr. Morgan Wallen. This boy's got hair for days. Good for him. I hope he's happy. I hope they've been boys for a long time. I hope he asks that man for 50 grand in a year. Um, all right. Got my Cowboys here. They filled every hole. If Michael Mayer goes, I would not be surprised. I mean, they might as
Yeah.
well, right?
Well,
So they had a hole at cornerback. Well, we'll trade a fifth round pick, one of our compensatory picks for Stephon Gilmore. We'll get him for pennies, right? We need a
mm,
wide receiver. Well, we'll trade another one of our compensatory picks for for Brandon Cooks and have the Texans pay an eighth of his salary or something, or a sixth of his salary, something like that. Because he ain't gonna want to play for the Texans, right? He doesn't want to
yeah.
go through a rebuild. Um, they had linebacker issues. Well, we'll just re-sign Leighton Vander Esch. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Well, we got offensive line issues. Well, we'll re-sign Tyron Smith. And to cover all of that, we'll get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, who has been underperforming for quite a quite a hot minute.
Mm. Um, Am I mistaken? I thought Jake Ferguson stepped away, or I thought he had a health issue.
No, not that I heard.
Okay,
I
then
mean,
it must
it's
be
not like
the
it's not like I've been huge on football news the last 6 weeks.
no, then it's probably it's Foster for the Raiders.
Yes, he did. He
Yeah,
has cancer of some sort.
that's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
They're hyping up
Because
Michael Mayer, and I don't know why because they haven't picked him yet.
I mean, Michael Mayer is obviously better than any of the tight ends they have, but they, I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense, right? This makes a lot of sense for them to go Michael Mayer if they were. I don't think there's a good enough offensive tackle to go anywhere near this.
Hmm.
Um, all the wide receivers gone. Yeah, it's basically Michael Mayer. Um, he's actually the smallest. He's a little bigger than Kincaid. So
Yeah,
I shouldn't. Yeah.
Mayer, Michael Mayer is I don't know if he's as big as Musgrave, but yeah, he was bigger, he's and slower. I think he's a better blocker too.
Osiris Torrance is still out there too. I don't see them going defense here, at least defensive line. Secondary, I would be, but their secondary is solid too because obviously we talked about the addition of Gilmore, but they had oh God, I can't even remember his name. Another cornerback who escapes me. Nishan. I'm close. Nishan. It's not Nishan, right?
Um, Looking at their roster now.
There's a secondary piece there, so they don't really even. I mean, they don't need the tight end either. Nishan Wright did really good at the cornerback slot. Deron Bland was also good. They don't really need another linebacker, so to speak. Tack McKinley they re-signed on purpose.
Did you already
Defensive
say
line,
Diggs? Trayvon Diggs?
well, of course, Trayvon Diggs. I didn't even. They have Donovan Wilson, Javon Kerr still. Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna go in place, I do see tight end as being like most likely. Yeah.
I mean, I would have said receiver, but they
Uh,
got oh boy. Who
yeah,
was
Lamb, Cooks, and Gallup.
Cooks, thank you. Yeah, so they don't really need that. I mean, they could go.
No,
They
they
could,
they actually could go wide receiver unless they plan on actually involving Cavante Turpin because it doesn't seem like they want to involve Jalen Tolbert. So
I mean, do they want somebody else alongside their running back, who I am blanking on?
Tony Pollard,
Pollard. They could go like Charbonnet.
he'll probably be there in the second round tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think if somebody wanted a halfback, it was gonna be done by now
yeah.
because most of these teams at the bottom they don't. Wow, they did go defensive line.
Hmm.
I don't hate it. Don't hate it. Their defense has been. I mean, that's what's kept them in games, right?
Yeah,
They they moved on from the wild card round because they destroyed an offense. They shut down Tom Brady and company. He's good. I'm pretty sure Mozzie's yeah, he's inside defensive line. This man's yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if they were looking at that, it was between him and Brzee.
he's got he's got better hands off the line, it looks like. Mazzy. But he's not gonna be
That's a big dude.
what was his height and his weight? I didn't even see it.
Uh, I didn't either. I was just looking at his
Awesome. You're doing great.
video. But I'm pulling it up now. He is 6'3", 323 pounds.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's a big dude.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
They just said it.
Yeah, they did. Yep, just as you did that. Um, I I don't hate it. I don't hate, like there wasn't going to be a pick there that I was going to hate because of what they've done already. I think I think this does two things. This means they want to put a little bit more stock in Ferguson and Ja, and I also think they're confident in their wide receivers, which they probably should be. They
Yeah, I
just
mean, they
re-signed
were
Michael Gallup two
solid with
years
just
ago.
Lamb.
Lamb is, I think he just got extended, or does
Really?
he have?
He's
No, they act.
still,
Nope, I lied. I lied.
yeah.
They picked up his option.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then Brandon Cooks is 1 year. So, I mean, do you try and re-sign Cooks? Probably not, unless he comes out and does some amazing things,
I mean,
which he could.
Cooks is
He's a
trying to
great
play on
slot.
all 32 teams.
He's a great slot, but he's a great slot receiver.
Oh yeah.
That's what. So we saw that CD Lamb did some very juicy things on the outside. Michael Gallup has been pretty solid on the outside.
I mean, Cooks can
I
play
think
outside
the
if sometimes too.
yeah, right,
And
right, right.
Lamb was playing in the slot.
Slot.
So yeah, they
He was
got
playing
some.
gadget half the time. He
Yeah.
was playing a lot of gadget. Um, but we said it in previous videos on the channel. The wide receiver class next year looks a lot better than this year's for free
Hmm.
agency.
Yeah.
And you know, you're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. unless you absolutely tank.
Hmm.
But there's some juice probably in the wide receiver pool next year too. It looks that way. So you know, I don't hate the pick. Keep the defense strong. The big thing is you don't need to score. I mean, they've scored the most points in the NFL per game for the last 3 years now. Like if you average all 3 years together, it's not every year, but they score a lot. They don't necessarily, the games where they don't are probably the ones where they should win,
Hmm.
or try and focus on winning, and they don't. So I'll take it. Jaguars here at 27. You got to be thinking secondary for these guys, right?
Yeah.
They just traded out from Deontay Banks, and I gotta think they traded out from 24 to 25, then they traded from 25 to 27, picking up a bunch of lower level picks
Yeah.
in the process. Cool. I mean, who's left for the secondary? It's you got Joey Porter Jr., Cam Smith, Brian Branch, Keely Ringo, Antonio Johnson. I would say Branch is probably going to go before Johnson. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. It's interesting. I mean, we didn't really go into this before, but like when we did some of our mocks, um, it seemed like you weren't as high on Forbes as I was, but we both did not have Forbes above like Branch or Porter Jr. I don't
or
know if
Gonzalez.
or Gonzalez, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Porter Jr. and Branch didn't interview well or something. It's interesting that
I mean,
they're,
at this pace, the Steelers at 32
yeah, really.
are probably going to have a shot at Joey Porter.
Hmm.
And I don't think they counted on that.
No.
If not, they'll have a shot at Nolan Smith. You got to remember they just lost Devin Bush, who I think he's another one of my better underrated signings from the Seahawks.
Hmm.
Um, it's only a 1 year deal, but the man's 25. Like he has ability, so long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
I the smart pick here is Joey Porter. Oh, now Will Levis has a different girlfriend. That didn't take long. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't. That's they're more girlfriendy than the first two. So what happened? He's answering all of the tweets that are roasting him for falling in the draft. This is what happens when you put mayonnaise in
I was
coffee.
just gonna say, doesn't he also do something? Oh, he eats the entire banana, like the peel.
Wow, man, if these teams are going? They're like, yeah, we'll fill in holes later. Let's just get people we like,
Wow.
right? Anton Harrison, offensive tackle from Oklahoma. This man's a freight train, if I remember correctly.
I mean, look at the video of this man just watching the draft. He's massive.
6'4", 315. Wow. I don't even have notes on him actually. I should have.
Yeah, he's got
Looks
34
like
and an
he looks like
eighth
he's a great.
arm
Oh,
reach.
you know what? He is a good. I didn't see any tape on Anton, but not. I mean, I've seen 4 plays on this highlight package. He's a rushing offensive tackle. He is great at yeah, he's great at picking up run blocks.
I mean, for his size, he's pretty quick.
It looks like yeah, it looks like his feet. Got good footwork. Again,
Yeah.
I'm going off of 5, 6 plays that I saw. So
Oh, well, I'm looking at his combine numbers. 40
what's
yard
his ladder?
dash.
Do you
His
have a ladder?
ladder, no.
Okay. I see Michael Mayer. By the way, just to cut in, Bengals
Yep.
at 28 now. Michael Mayer,
Yeah.
which was I think like our very first mock draft, our way too early mock draft. I think I had Michael Mayer going to. So
Yeah, I think
if that's one pick I got right, we're good. Um.
the pick's
Oh,
in.
that's a smart thing. I didn't realize I forgot about that because of that news that broke this morning about the impending suspension for Cam Robinson. They need a left tackle
Oh, and
because
I
he
mean,
has
Irv
a
Smith is there, but obviously he's had issues.
he's a 2 tight end. He's not an answer to the
I mean,
a young tight end is going to be perfect for this Bengals team,
yeah.
especially if he can actually get good at blocking.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're talking
they
about
would
Darnell
definitely.
right now.
Oh, really?
No, you'll see it
No.
in 4 seconds.
Oh, okay. Wait, Darnell Wright or Washington? Did, oh, why are they talking
He
about
said
Wright?
White. Did he?
They did, but Darnell Wright's already been picked.
Oh, you know what? They're comparing tackles.
Okay.
That's why they're not talking about future. They're talking about that just happened. We got easily confused
I
there.
mean, it's hard
Somebody
to
should give
listen to
us our
what
own.
they're saying and
Right,
also to.
right. No, that's right. Somebody should give us a podcast. We'd be really good at it. Bengals at 28. Got 3 picks left after this. I
They
mean, there's going to
seriously
be some
take like
names.
the pick comes in and it's like 5 minutes to even like tell us who
Right.
it is.
100%. 100%. There's going to be some names going to the second round that we did not see.
Yeah. Oh, all
There
right.
you
It
go.
showed up on the website, but they haven't announced it yet.
Wow. I'm turning my noise canceling off so that the mic can pick it up. I don't know if I hope it's coming through. Um, Miles Murphy, defensive end, Clemson. I mean, and this is intriguing because they just, mm, yeah, all right. I mean, this is one thing that they did. I mean, when they did this when they had a good pass rush against the Chiefs had problems. So
Hmm.
you have to be looking at the teams that are beating them, which is, I mean, not the Chiefs. The Chiefs did it once, but part of the reason why they're so successful against a team like the Chiefs is because of when their pass rush was good. Trey Hendrickson. This is this is somebody who, as well, we were at one point predicting top seven, top eight, top 10 for Miles Murphy. You know,
Yeah.
I get that this is one of those picks that it fell to them and they went, we can't in all good conscience go and take who we thought we were gonna because this man is far more talented than the teams above us or the
Mm.
teams that just picked. This is how multiple trades get facilitated in the first 2 days, is because people slip and the surprise push other people down and oh, this guy's still available. I couldn't get him at 25, but now maybe I can at 38.
Hmm.
And so it's the trade up is a lot less costly to these teams. That's interesting. And they're in the same division as the Browns, Steelers, Ravens. Huh. I don't hate it. I don't have
No.
anything else really to add about it. I mean, it's these are going to be the picks that are interesting. The Saints here at 29. How did they get this pick again? This is the Bronco pick that was traded with Sean Payton.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Yeah, I mean, it,
uh,
it says this
and the
pick
Broncos
was,
got it because of the Miami
yeah,
foregoed theirs,
and then
and because
Miami
the
got it from
trade
San
happened
Francisco.
right. So this was San Francisco's pick originally. Went to Miami in the. Mm, this is a Trey Lance trade.
I think so. Although,
And then the pick,
yes.
Miami foregoed the pick. They foregoed both. They forfeited both first round picks. No, they forfeited the first one for tampering. This one's the one they traded to Denver in the with Chase Edmonds for Bradley Chubb. And
Hmm.
now Denver shipped it off to the Saints for okay. That was a moment. Um
Shaking off the rest.
it's only gonna here's the thing is like the best the best thing for shaking off the rust isn't happening until like August.
Right.
So like after this, we're gonna have that post draft show. I have to reach out to Ian and Zach. I think we will do a four-way pause. Uh that way we can all kind of put in this, and that would probably be what I would consider our season finale.
Hmm.
Let the off season kind of take hold and then come back with fantasy stuff. I mean, it's gonna be the first 6, 8, 10 shows are gonna be all fantasy based. You know,
Yeah.
so, um, and just kind of go with some pre-draft rankings, do some mock drafts of any and everything. My
All the good
idea,
stuff.
yeah, that's my thought. So, um, obviously we got another day and I don't know, another 2 days and 3 picks before before we take the next step.
I'll be seeing Ian and ZG Saturday.
Really,
Yeah,
you
so
going you going down? Or are they coming up?
I'm going down. We're gonna go to Austin FC game,
Cool,
and
cool. They
then
love that Austin FC.
yeah, they have season tickets, and then
Yep. I text them all
Ian,
the time, text Ian all the time. I wasn't paying attention, wasn't watching, wasn't doing whatever. I was at the Austin game. All right. Well, that's good. Good for you. You enjoy. I'm not a soccer guy, but you love it. Then by golly, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Saturday, and then Sunday, Ian, myself, and our friend Pete are gonna do the Austin Hill Country loop, which is like 311 miles. We're gonna bike it
Good for
over
you.
5 days,
Nice, nice.
do a little backpacking and
Happy for you. Happy
camp
for you
along the
guys.
way.
Happy for you guys. That's great. That's awesome. I will make sure not to text him next week when the Knicks are winning and or losing then. Um, yeah. So this is kind of this almost another spot for Michael Mayer here at the Saints. I know
Yeah,
they re-signed Juwan Johnson, but they let Adam Troutman go.
that yeah, I don't.
And it would be another weapon for Derek Carr. So
hmm The Troutman
I'm
stuff is interesting because he should have been more than he was, but he just never really panned out. I mean, I'm not he's saying he was amazing, but there
he had a
was
bigger
higher
upside.
hopes. Yeah.
All right. Here. Yeah, this is
I mean, the these guys are saying they think they're gonna go defense.
that would be smart to do.
Yeah.
Defense it is. Brian Brzee.
Ah.
Not a bad take.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I feel like he fell
What
further
do you
than
a lot of these guys are, I
yeah.
mean, it's to the point where the steals are coming in. I'm surprised there isn't somebody calling the Eagles for 30 or calling the Chiefs for 31 and give me another pick if I can get it because there is a Joey Porter available. There is a Michael Mayer probably isn't necessarily as much of a surprise as some of these other guys.
Mm,
Um, He's 6'5", 298.
damn.
Yeah, bit of a chunk boy there. Good in a good way.
Right.
That's a lot of muscle. He's 298. He's not crazy. Crazy. It's not like he's overweight or anything. That's good.
So you think the Chiefs will go like Josh Downs or Hyatt? Actually,
Mm,
Hyatt
you
in
know,
terms of speed would fit pretty well.
oh man, this I feel like if somebody like Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison fell to them,
Exactly.
which was asking a lot, I feel like that would have been an open shut. I think with the way the team is built, I feel like defense is just the smart thing to do. Does that mean they won't? No. You can get some good, specifically defensive linemen. You can get some good ones, not a Brian Brzee, a Miles Murphy, Tyree Wilson. You can't get those guys in, the fourth round, third or fourth round, but you can get some solid pieces if you need it. Um, they did add the only thing I am pretty certain about is that linebacker is probably fairly set for them. Willie Gay, they signed Drew Tranquil, who I love, was a monster last year. That's a scary thought actually, because of how on ball Drew Tranquil is. Um, and I forget who the uh soon to be third year linebacker is that they drafted. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I actually drafted him the first in our league 2 years ago, and I let him go prematurely before I understood what defense meant. Uh, yeah, that's I can't remember his freaking name. He played a lot. Look it up. Don't do it.
Um,
But I
so
don't
the
think linebackers where they go. Like sure, Nick Bolton, good God, and Leo Chanel. So they're pretty set at linebacker,
mm,
and their secondary is actually pretty sexy. I forgot they signed Mike Edwards. They have L'Jarius Sneed still. Trent McDuffie has been solid. Like defensive line makes sense because you have Derek Nottie, Chris Jones, George. I mean, you got the Greek George Karlaftis, but the top three wide receivers on their depth chart is MVS, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore. So honestly, and they have Richie James as their fourth. They're probably taking a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, ooh, could they go tight end?
Yeah, I mean, even though Kelsey's
That's
still playing incredibly, he is,
even at 33, but it's
yeah.
eventually Father Time escapes nobody. So,
Right.
I mean, not to say that you do this here or it's a smart move. Kelsey's your tight end one until Kelsey retires, probably.
Yeah.
He has that Antonio Gates vibe, that Tony Gonzalez vibe, where he just doesn't stop even at that
Right.
age, and then eventually he goes the physio pre-game, the post game, the healing during the week. It's not working like it was. I'm done.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to probably restart this one more time for pick 31, which is crazy
I know.
because they're dragging this out. I
Yeah, I
think the
mean,
Eagles are like, who do we go for? Because now we have so many more options that are at our
yeah.
disposal.
We came in at pick 20 and it's
And
taken
we are an
us,
hour and 30 minutes in.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't want to criticize it because the festivity, the hoopla about it, it's
Yeah.
special for a reason. Um,
I mean, we could
it's
keep it
very
to three
cherished
hours.
territory.
We're approaching 4 hours.
They could keep it to 2.5. If you did the
Yeah.
first 10, if you did the top 10 at 10 minutes a pick, and then the rest of them were seven,
Uh-huh.
you'd cut a half hour to 45 minutes off the show right there. But
Yeah, but then Mel Kiper doesn't get to hear himself talk and Todd McShay and
yeah, they're saying secondary. I said, and it makes sense. This is just
yeah.
I said it. I said this most of this draft for the Eagles should be defense. Doesn't mean that's going to be it right here. No, they'll probably take, Josh Downs or something stupid. Something that doesn't benefit the team this year at all. I hope Jalen Carter can keep his mind his P's and Q's because that's going to be a
Mhm.
great pick for them at 9. Like to be
Yeah,
honest, it's
really.
steal. It's steal level. Look at that watch he's got on. That's rocks. This man's not even in the NFL yet. His NIL deal paid for a 60 grand watch or some stuff. Like it's crazy. Then again, he was in like a Porsche drag racing 7 weeks ago. So,
Right.
All right, make the pick. Good Lord. They want to compare Jalen Carter to Von Miller.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
just heard that.
Interesting. I Here's the interesting part from a 53 man from our dynasty league is I'm seeing a lot of pieces that they're going to be beneficial to these football teams IRL, but to us in a fantasy capacity, you're talking good value in the third, if not the
Right.
fourth round. Defense is this is not a draft where you go hard on defense anywhere in the end of the second round like it was last year. But third round, there's so many of these pieces that are, they're going to be underrated.
Yeah.
I picked up Jaquan Brisker in the fifth round of our draft last year, and he scored 130 points for me on defense this year. Like you're easily seeing that again and not just one pick. You're going to see that from like half the fifth round. They're going to be 120 to 150 points this year out of the fifth round,
Yeah.
and it just depends on keeping them, I guess, on your team. Oh, good God! I was about to say these are the guys from Dud
Dude,
Perfect.
perfect.
dead perfect. They're pretty
I
good. Their stuff's gotten stale after, I mean, they're about 9 years into creating content, and I got over it about 4 years ago. But I have great appreciation for what they do because they take a lot of time to film, and it is some pretty cool athletic stuff. Small, cheap plug for Dude Perfect. Good God. Cheap, shameless plug for Kansas City.
yeah. Wow. Now they're advertising for YouTube TV. Ah, I almost I almost said because they threw up Mel's so
Nolan.
yeah, the pick is Nolan Smith to the Eagles at number 30. And Mel's top options that were left, he was like number 2 or 3 on his list. And I said, oh, actually, Nolan Smith's not a bad fit for them.
I mean, that's a great fit.
Yeah.
He didn't see a lot of the field, but you know what? He did really well. That it's something so simple, but I think probably only 50% of prospects did it. Show out at your pro day.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was injured, that was a great way to do it. I think the Eagles got a steal there, and they took so long to pick it because there's so many options. Do me a favor, restart this real quick.
All right.
You just record. There you go. What a guy. He's so good. Just recording instantly. Are you uploading these? Because I can't find it in the drive, just so you're clear.
Uh, I haven't
He's like,
uploaded it yet. No.
okay,
I was actually just naming the first one and about to upload it.
okay. Well then I will chat a little bit. Um, yeah, the Eagles like Georgia defenses. N'Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter in the last 2 years, all to the Eagles. Um, this is they have a young defense, but this is what they needed to do. I mean, this isn't going to be a bad defense. It's just going to be a learning defense, an adaptable defense.
Yeah.
Um, there's no reason to expect the Eagles to take a huge step back here. Not as much as I thought so when the Super Bowl ended and their contract situations were problematic, and they
Mm-hmm.
made some smart moves with their money, and that's good. They signed Jalen Hurts to 5 years at God dollars. Um, and then today the Ravens also. It's good to point out that about 2 hours before the draft, the Ravens signed Lamar Jackson to 5 years, 260 million,
Yeah.
185 million guaranteed. I mean, that just I don't know if I'm assuming the Jalen Hurts contract made them do that, but they both are kind of going to reset the market. The problem is some of these quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, they have like 7 years left on their deal.
Right.
So on a front loaded contract, which is crazy. But some of these other quarterbacks like Dak, Burrow is due an extension next year, the year after. He's going to get 45, 50 million.
Right.
Like these guys are going to start pulling in 20% of a team's cap. Um, yeah, it's a little nuts, but it's good to see. I like I like the locking Hurts down. AJ Brown is there 2026, so 2027. So, you know, keep the defense young, keep the pieces rotating. You're going to have to. You're going to have to let some people go who you ain't going to want to let go
Right.
at some point. And they may start with people named Fletcher Cox or Jason Kelsey. So sorry. Jason Kelsey will probably retire before he's let go,
I was
let's
gonna
be
say
honest.
he was talking about retiring this upcoming year, or
Right. So,
you know,
but you're
after
gonna need to
last year.
fill that. You're gonna need to fill that hole still.
Yeah.
So there's some moving pieces, but the Eagles can easily keep this competitiveness going. Um, they have to to find success at some point, though. They have to find, and I mean like winning the Super Bowl. Getting
Right.
there is you already got there. I don't know if you have the pieces to do it this year again. I see the playoffs. I think that's for sure a thing. Like I would put money on the playoffs right now if you were to say bet. If you were actually, they'd probably be one of two teams that I would put in the playoffs. So somebody said you had bet money right now. Um, I would probably be, yeah, all right. Well, then I would, they would be one of them. The other one obviously being the Chiefs. So yeah, yeah. Well, I like that. I
I
like
could see them
the
going
pick.
back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, yeah. It depends on what the other teams. Injuries are going to influence this.
Exactly.
I want to see how this defense reacts. I know they're good. I know they're physical. Um, this pass rush is for sure not going to be the same, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be successful. Um, there are other teams that have really good offenses that if they have anywhere near a solid defense that can put an answer to Jalen Hurts, can Jalen Hurts take another step forward? Potentially so, which is kind of
Mhm.
crazy to say because he was one of the top two quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
And it took most of the year for me to realize that, to be honest. But that's the truth of the matter, in my opinion. So I like the Eagles. I still see them as being like 11-6, and that'll make the playoffs. It's
Yeah.
going to be crazy I think this is another year where the NFC East goes like almost all above 500. That's what's crazy. A lot of these other teams, Bears are going to be better. They're not getting to 500, I don't think. They're going to be better. They're going to look better. I don't think they get to 500. The Lions, it depends on how this defense responds. The offense looks like it's going to be very similar because they're not going to have Jameson Williams for at least 6 games.
Right.
Um, they let Quintez Cephas go and somebody else because they don't know how to not gamble. Um, the Vikings are probably going to not be as good as they were because they weren't as good as we thought they were last year.
Yeah. They had a lot of close
Um,
games that they managed to win.
yeah, if anyone forgot in the last 3 months, I will politely remind them that the Vikings were a negative 120 or something. And this wasn't quite that much. It was like a negative 45 or whatever it was on their point
Yeah.
differential for the year, but they were 13-4 in the regular season or 12-5, something stupid.
Yeah.
That won't happen again. I don't that was a absolute absolute I don't, anomaly.
Yeah. I mean,
Um
they also don't have what, Kellen Moore anymore, right?
the Cowboys,
No, sorry. Their was it their
because you're
offensive
right. I think
coordinator?
the Cowboys do not have Kellen Moore as their
No.
offensive coordinator, and he went to the Chargers.
Oh,
Uh
I thought the Vikings lost somebody.
no, they did. I forget who his name was. They also picked up, however, they did sign Brian Flores to their defense, and I really like that move for him. He's their defensive coordinator this year. Um, I don't think the Packers are going to be as good. Looking out west, it's still Seahawks and 49ers. The Rams have done literally nothing this offseason.
I know.
I don't know if anyone's noticed that. They're in a position to do that. They're not. Um, so yeah, I don't see this as being a crazy different year from a standings wise. All right, final pick of round one. There's 3 trophies there. Did they win three Super Bowls in the last like 4 years or something?
Yeah.
That is it? Okay. Was it 22, 20, and 19?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not even going to attempt to say that man's name, but
I mean, I was on the right path when I said defense
yeah.
and defensive end. I mean, It looks like my Sky Moore and my Kadarius Tony stocks are going to be okay for right now. I'm intrigued by that because I feel like some of these fans are cheering because they don't know who he is and they're just like, sure, all right.
I guess I apologize. They've only won two in the past three Super Bowls. Is that right?
I was about to say, it sounds more right. I know the other one was the Buccaneers.
Right. I
That
thought it
was in
was three.
2020. No, 2021. That was in 2021.
Yeah.
What if you're right to party by definitely not the Beastie Boys?
Yeah, I don't know who
I
that.
don't I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, good God. Someone like Grandpa out of the home for the poor Beastie Boys show. There's Fall Out Boy to the right. I see that on the, but that is definitely not Fall Out Boy. Just so you're clear, it's not Fall Out Boy. I should ask Randy. I should ask my friend who went to last year's NFL draft in Vegas, and I should ask him if this is anything like it and why we have to have a concert after an NFL draft. I mean, there's a certain point of it. Like we have to ask the tough questions. Okay, we are in media and journalism, so the tough questions are going to be asked right now. We're going to take
Uh-huh.
30 seconds, put 30 seconds on the clock, and we're going to ask the tough questions. Why is the draft 3.5 hours long? How long is the concert after the draft? Is the concert really going to be that great if you're 3.5 hours into a draft? Is this only because the draft is being held in the spot where the final pick's town resides? Would the party be anywhere near this big if it was anywhere else?
Right.
I have so many questions. Half these fans don't know what's happening right now.
I
They're
mean, I don't even
literally
know
just
who
like,
this band is.
no one does. It ain't Beastie Boys. I just
No,
want to
it is
say, like,
not.
I'm not trying to criticize the camaraderie and stuff like that. That's legitimately, you guys have fun. Literally, this is why you won the Super Bowl. Like, you get to do this until September, and then you go back to work. Fine, cool, have fun. But why? Like, why is it this way? Shouldn't you have the concert before the draft? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I mean, I didn't watch the pre-show if they had one. Maybe they did.
Is there like a dual Fallout Boy thing going on here? I don't know. So, we'll wrap up real quick, and by real quick, we'll take 10 minutes, maybe 15. Um, I'll ask you this question: biggest surprise from the first round for you?
Biggest surprise.
Could be anything. Can be
I
anything. Can be a
mean,
pick. Can be a trade. Can be somebody who wasn't picked. Whatever it is.
yeah. I mean, the thing that sticks out the most, I talked about when we started was the Texans trading up to three and going back to back with picks. Um, I feel like also the Lions taking Jahmyr Gibbs at 12 was pretty surprising. Those are
Okay.
the two things that really stick out to me. I mean, there's a couple other things, but those are probably the biggest.
The two big ones.
Yeah. How about you?
Um, well, this has nothing to do with it, but my ADD has now pinned it. I didn't realize that for the entire 2 hours we've been doing this that I have both of our names on my video, and you have just your name there, and that's not there. So,
I should
it's because of
change
the
mine to
way,
be Taylor Derrick and you're Derrick Taylor.
right? That's right. I just that's what happens when you sign into the Gmail and you just
Right.
leave it there. So that's the way it goes. Because our Gmail is just both of our first names. That's how it is. That's what Google knows us. It's not the address. That's how Google knows us. As far as Google knows, I am Derek Taylor, and I'm not. I'm Derek and he's Taylor. Anyways, moving on to the question to address it. There's like three that stand out to me. From least surprising to most. Um, I think I agree with you. At mine, the third one is Jahmyr Gibbs. But to wrap that into an overall thought, it's that two running backs went in not only the first
Mm,
round, they went in the top 15.
yeah,
Um, I
the
don't think
first
anyone
half.
really saw the Lions taking a halfback there, taking Jahmyr Gibbs. Good for them. Like I said, I'm interested to see how this shapes their team. They made some solid free agent moves that probably allowed them to do that. So, um, good to see. Number two is the overall breakdown. I mean, that influences this whole, number three that I just pointed out with the halfbacks going helped influence what I'm for number two. The whole breakdown of players and how they win. It kind of
Hmm.
relates to what you said about the Texans coming up, trading up for number three, the Cardinals trading down, then trading back up, then and the Lions being able to trade back to 12 because nobody expected them to take Jahmyr Gibbs, and they
Hmm.
probably weren't going to take him at six. For all we know, the Falcons go deep. They take Bijan Robinson at 12.
Right.
That's a whole different, we have a whole different animal on our hands then. But those trades, the mid round trades that happen, the Jets and the Packers that happened with the Aaron Rodgers trade, the swap between the Steelers and the Patriots for the pieces that each of them wanted. And then from in the 20s, the multiple trades between the Jaguars, the Giants, the Bills, all of that. It all influenced how the round broke down.
Hmm.
Definitely some pieces that were because of those trades that went at different spots. And that influenced what went number one most surprising thing, and that's who's going into day two still available. Like we
Yeah.
have to we have to address the elephant in the room because it is. I will list off some of the names of people who are still available. None of those. Trenton Simpson, Brian Branch, Osiris Torrance, uh, Michael Mayer,
Hmm.
big one. I didn't think that he would get taken quite so far out. Can't go without saying Will Levis,
Right.
um, Joey Porter Jr., um, Keely Ringo. Maybe not so much of a surprise there, but there's probably six names that for I think they were all in our mock drafts. I mean that we expected to go in the top the first round to be in the top 31 picks, and they are available.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about this is now these teams have roughly 20 hours 18 hours to make phone calls to think about this.
Right.
Um, I the next pick on the clock is the Steelers, so I'm going to jump to the future and say this is where Joey Porter Jr. goes because that's where his dad, and that is a great pickup. That means the gamble from the Steelers to trade up out of 17 to just go for the offensive tackle and what falls to you. That worked out doubly for them,
Yeah.
and I love that. I love that for the Steelers. And then the rest of the pieces just everything else that's going to happen. The Cardinals are at 33. Uh, you know, Zach Ertz isn't long for football.
Right.
Max Williams is, I believe, a free agent. You just took a tight end. Is that a fit for Michael Mayer? Defensively, could you use a cornerback if you're looking to trade away Buda Baker or a safety, Brian Branch, if you're looking to trade Buda Baker? There's options there. Um, can you get another second round pick maybe later in the round for Buda Baker? Like there's options for both of those teams, and then it only works down to the Colts, the Raiders, the Panthers are at 39. I think if a tight end slips there, that's a spot they may look, even though they have Hayden Hurst and they added him.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of different routes there. I'm surprised at how it went. We knew this was going to happen. There was no, if you thought the NCAA tournament had brackets that you needed it was 1 in 7 billion that you were going to get the right bracket. It's almost the same for the NFL draft in their first round. You just can't really pick it.
Hmm.
Um, if you get six picks correctly, you'll be like I think the closest any of us got to being correct besides the top 3 4 picks where we are like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, was going to have Will Anderson's going in the top four and stuff like that. You go anywhere after that, I think the closest either you and me got was basically saying the Eagles are going defense, and no, that's about it.
Yeah,
Oh, no, wrong. The Patriots trading down.
yeah.
Those two
That's
things were the only. Everything else, what do you got? Nothing. So, really interesting to see how this broke. I love how this breaks down. What else? Which team? I guess I'll ask this question. Which team did the best job? This is a tough question. Which team did the best job through one round? Because this is the boost round, right? This is where you take that slug. This is where you take that big right hook, and you take out a big chunk of what your team struggles at position wise.
hmm
What team for you did that the best?
I mean, it's hard not to look at the teams that had two picks.
Hmm.
I mean, it being that, Houston, Seattle, Eagles, Lions. I mean, I like like I said before, I think that was well played by Houston.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, they have a lot of holes to fill.
Right.
Um, Seattle, I think I'm kind of leaning. Who was their second pick, or did they trade it away?
No, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Ah,
I mean, I'm torn between to answer the question, not to step on your toes, but to jump into the conversation because you're along the same lines as me.
yeah.
I'm between Seattle and Houston because Houston got their quarterback future. Probably not their number one choice, but still a great quarterback of the future.
hmm
And they have a great defensive piece, which is also something that they struggled at for most of last year. Then you
Yeah.
look at the Seahawks. They have three huge weapon wide receivers now. And they took a cornerback, which again, once they filled the middle of the field in free agency like they did, that was what was left.
Yeah.
I I want to say because of where the teams are going to end up, they both took steps forward. I would take the Seahawks. Just because now I feel like both sides of the ball are about as filled out as they need to be.
Yeah.
Assuming Geno Smith is the Geno Smith we saw this past year. To me, that would be the Seahawks, but that's my take on it.
Yeah. I mean, along the same lines, like it's the Eagles also did a great job getting Carter at a steal at 9, and then they get Nolan Smith, who we had been talking about since what, like pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we only came on at pick 20, but still,
I mean,
like
you and me were when we were FaceTiming, figuring out the Facebook bullshit.
that's true. Yeah.
That's where we were talking. Nolan Smith is still there at 13, and then go
Yeah.
Lucas Van Ness. And you're like, interesting. And then Will McDonald goes to the Jets at 15. We're like, interesting.
Yeah.
And Nolan Smith goes to about where we would have expected him to go at our preliminary drafts back in January, but
hmm
it's different now.
Yeah.
Eagles did a good job. I still think they're an honorary mention with the Texans for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's hard not to go after these teams that had two picks. If you look at some of the
Yeah,
teams that didn't have two picks, I don't know if I'm being a homer, but like the Patriots trade back, they still get, in my opinion, the best cornerback. I mean, Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, like,
you're in it.
uh,
It's good. Yeah,
yeah, that's good company to be in. So, but like I said, that's kind of homer.
I'm gonna go off the beaten path,
Yeah.
and I mean it's not if you're talking about single team picks teams with single picks,
hmm
just one single pick. I like I guess really two teams come to mind. Um, the Vikings, they needed another cornerback. That was a spot they really needed to hit on, have some man-on-man coverage. I don't hate Deontay Banks. He has a great combination of the aforementioned, basically skill that you needed a cornerback position.
Wait,
Also, a
the
little bit of a
Vikings or the
homer for me.
Giants?
Vikings. Didn't they take Deontay
N-
Banks?
No, that Banks was right after them to the Giants. Vikings took Jordan Addison.
Oh, even
Remember,
better.
yeah, we were commenting. We were
Still
little,
a single pick team. That's true. And
yeah,
actually, no, I'm still going to stick with Deontay Banks because that's also a team that desperately needs some cornerback help. So,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, he's a great asset. Um, the other one that came to mind, and it's more surprising that they went there, was the tight end pick to the Bills, Dalton
Mm.
Kincaid. But to the opposite of my question, which team bombed?
I mean, the
Hard
Lions
to pick one,
taking, yeah, but the Lions taking Gibbs at 12, I feel like you could have waited more on him unless, like, I'm not obviously in there, but maybe they're talking to other teams and they found out that somebody else
right?
was interested. So I don't hate that pick. I mean, Gibbs is a very good talent that is going to help that offense for sure. I feel like that's pretty early. The Titans, I mean, they just have so many holes. Peter Skoronski at 11, like, I don't know. I again, I don't
They
hate
did
it,
with yeah,
but it just doesn't, I don't know.
they didn't do too horrible.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's tough to pick one for me too. Like I want to say some team, like saying the Commanders, that pick has been a pick that I've hated since the start of this. We started mocking back in December. I didn't like pick 16. It just didn't work out in any of the drafts. That has
Hmm.
nothing to do with the player or the team or the draft or the class or anything. It just was a feeling that I had. So that's kind of not really fair.
Yeah.
Um, there isn't really much of a I could say the Saints at 29, but again, they need defensive help with Brian Brzee as well. So I don't really think it's a fair question to answer, despite me asking it. So,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
yeah, you're like to your point. I think teams filled their spots decently with, the hand that they're dealt, and
yeah,
yeah, we're just kind of picking out the bad, like the good from the great. I don't know.
sure, that's how we'll put that.
Yeah,
Um, all right, so that's gonna do it. Let's I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up at 8 o'clock, go to work.
yeah, for real.
It's 12:15. Yeah, for those of you that see this, I don't think I'm gonna be able to put it up tonight because it's so damn late. So I may just actually put up like some of the reaction or some of the live reaction and then put this portion up. So we'll see how it goes. Uh, we're gonna work on getting a full post-draft reaction some point next week or the week after, probably the week after, because it sounds like Taylor is going to be biking through the hills of Texas, which there I didn't even know there were hills in Texas.
Texas is a
Um,
big state.
very good. It's like the third or fourth biggest in the country. It's pretty large. I think it's third biggest. It's Alaska,
No,
California, Texas.
yeah, northern Texas actually has a lot of nice views and whatnot that like not the Texas you think of.
Right. Well, I'll take it. I want to go to there someday, but instead I just went on vacation to Tennessee and North Carolina, which is great, by the way. So part of the reason why we didn't have a show for 4 weeks. But I'm gonna leave it to Taylor to plant the seed in Zach and Ian's brain while they are on vacation, aka biking. It's not vacation. I mean, it's kind of a vacation, but it's a nice vacation that is with exercise and camaraderie. Uh, hopefully we'll have that show for you some point in the maybe middle part of May. Until then, this has been Derek from the Fantasy Flyer. That guy's Taylor. Do your little wave, dude.
What up?
See you guys.
Peace out, y'all.